principle number 5 is all about respect. Respecting others, respecting opinions, individuality, etc. But before we dive into that, let's talk for just a minute about 2 concepts that we absolutely love in our family that relate to music. So what are you going to talk about?
So music, there's a couple different ways you can sing together. One is in unison, where everyone sings the exact same note, the same pitch. And then there's another way to sing called harmony.
Yes.
Where 2 or more different notes are being sung at the same time. And it's beautiful when you hear harmony. Well, unison can be beautiful too.
Right.
But this plays into the part of the idea of respect.
Yeah, and respect really is more about harmony than about unity. You know, unity is like everyone's the same, and it's easy to respect somebody when that's the same, but when they're different, that's where respect really comes in. And we have to see the differences as harmony, not as discord or contention. We really can celebrate the differences in other people and give respect to where they're at and be civil and kind in our approach to them. I think there's really in family life, there's really 3 different areas where we can show greater respect to build that harmony inside of a family.
And we want to talk about all 3 of them. Individuality, respecting possessions, and respecting choices of each other.
So let's talk about individuality for a minute. So we have discovered that all of our children are different. Margie and I are different. We come with different gifts and talents and abilities. And recognizing those is really important. I remember that when we first were married, Margie was super excited to have, all of our children were going to learn to play piano. She played piano. Piano was a big part of her family life. And of course, all of our children were going to learn piano. So when our oldest were like, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there,
Yep.
We enrolled them in piano classes because they were going to learn, right?
Yeah.
And tell them what happened.
And Esther and Joshua loved it, the 2 older ones. Jared, he was really frustrated with it. And I'd sit beside him at the piano and he would just get so frustrated. He did not want to do it. And I did not like the contention that it was causing between him and I. So I said, you know what? Don't worry about it. We'll find you something else that you want to do.
Now, he eventually learned to play piano, but it was his own time and in his own way. Yes. And it worked out just perfectly. But there was harmony there in the differences. It was okay that 2 of them loved it. 1 of them didn't. It was totally fine.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and a big part of harmony and individuality is learning to see the good in other people, even if they're different, to lift them, to encourage them, inspire them, and help them on their own individual journey with the gifts and talents and abilities that God has given them. So the first thing that we do is we respect individuality.
Now, the second one is respecting possessions and allowing our children to have their own personal items, their own personal possessions. And then at that point, they can learn to share or to be good stewards of those possessions and take care of them and honor them and respect them.
That's right. We've always encouraged our children to do some kind of business or entrepreneurial effort so they make money and they get a sense of what it really takes to own and possess something. This gives enormous amount of respect for other people. It's like, well, look, if you have to buy a book, you know the value of that book. So if you borrow a book from somebody else, you're going to have a lot more respect for that book. And you're also going to encourage other people to respect that book if you loan it out and you're the owner of it.
Right.
And so it also engenders the ability to be selfless. You can't give what you don't own. So respecting possessions is very powerful.
Yep.
What's the third thing?
Third one is choices.
Right.
We need to respect each other's choices and allowing each other to have different opinions on things.
That's right. We have a lot of opinions about food in our house.
Yes,
right?
we do.
I love seafood. Margie doesn't love seafood. Some of the children love avocados and guacamole, and some of them don't.
I like chocolate. He doesn't.
I don't like
for
chocolate,
some strange reason.
But she loves me anyway and respects me for it. So we have these differences. We respect people's choices. Also, we need to respect the fact that we sometimes like one thing and then we change our mind and we can respect that. Like, for example, I didn't used to like mustard. I banned it from our house. Margie couldn't even buy mustard when we first got married. I was a big ogre. And then I decided I actually really like mustard. And so we started buying mustard. And Margie didn't hold that over me and make fun of me.
Yeah.
So people make difference. We change, and allowing people to change and respecting that is fine. Don't pigeonhole family members into places.
Now, a note on this. Respect is not a parenting free-for-all.
Right.
You don't just let your children go and do anything they want. they need to be kept within the bounds of God's laws and the laws of the land.
That's right.
You don't want them walking off a cliff because they choose to.
Right.
And you need to help them make age-appropriate decisions. But helping them feel that we respect them and their ideas and their opinions is so important.
So let's talk about 5 things you can do to build your respect muscle. So the very first one is practice that harmony that we talked about. And you can simply do that by recognizing differences, being okay with it, and looking for ways that those differences can play into strengthening your family, your relationships, and your loved ones. That's really what it amounts to. It's like, hey, how can this bring greater joy and happiness to our family? Because there is a difference there, not criticizing or condemning it.
Right. Number 2, create a safe space for them to make their choices, to be different.
Yeah.
Really. They need to not feel like they're bad if they choose something different than someone else.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Third thing you can do is you can give that ownership and allow them to have ownership.
Yeah.
Encourage them to make their own money. Give them toys at a young age. That's Esther's toy. Those are Jared's stuff. That's Miriam's things, and allow them to have unique ownership and possession of things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, number 4, help them discover God's plan for them individually.
Yeah.
It's different than anyone else in the world. God's plan for them, and help them in exploring different things so that they can figure out what God wants them to do.
I think it's especially important for parents not to try to relive their childhood or their missed dreams or opportunities through their children. So many times, educationally, professionally, sports, music, we try to project our plan, our goal, our love, our passion onto our children and compel them to live our dreams. Mm-hmm. And that's just not right. Find God's plan for them and help them live into that. Respect that they have an individual journey that they're on.
Yep. And then the final point, number 5, is to guide them in their choices and help them navigate those waters and help them make good decisions that they feel good about.
That's right. So as you do this, as you create harmony through respecting individuality, respecting possessions, respecting choices, you'll be able to create that harmony, and you'll find so much more happiness and joy in your family. It's so empowering not to have discord and contention, but to have respect and civility and love and kindness in your family. Imagine where everybody in your family is literally celebrating the differences. It's like, oh, you don't love peanut butter? That's awesome. That's great. I like it. So we have this unique set of flavors in our family. Fabulous. And celebrating that and finding harmony in it instead of discord. It'll bring you a lot more joy and happiness. Hey, we're so grateful to have you here listening to us and being with us. We're grateful to be on the journey with you. Can't wait to hear more of your story. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye now.